deducted taxes, value-added tax, and withholding tax, totaling 95,641 naira 112 naira 00 kobo. Paragraph 234, subsection 1 of the Financial Regulation 2009 states it is mandatory for all accounting officers to ensure full compliance with the dual rules of making provision for value-added tax and withholding tax due on supply and services, contracts, and actual remittance of same. Furthermore, paragraph 235 of the Financial Regulation requires that deduction for withholding tax, value-added tax, and payee shall be remitted to the relevant tax authority at the same time the payee who is the subject of the deduction is paid. Audit observed that, 1, the agency had accumulated deducted taxes, value-added tax, and withholding tax outstanding in its books and yet to be remitted to relevant authority as at 31st December 2017. As at the time of the audit exercise in 2018, this liability stood at 95,641,112 naira 00 kobo. Number 2, this long outstanding tax liability included the accumulated sum of 56,676,173 naira as at 31st December 2015, which comprised outstanding VAT and withholding tax liability between 2012 and 2015, as reported on pages 379 and 380 of the Auditor General's 2014 annual report published in 2017/2018. An additional non-remitted sum of 40,964,939 naira in 2016. Despite tax liability reduction, agreement with officials of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FRS, which purportedly reduced the tax liability from 95,641,112 naira to 66,291,622 naira 49 kobo, as shown in its 2017 trial balance, audited financial statement, general ledger, and correspondence between the agency and the tax office. The agency failed to make any payment. And number 4, as at the time of the audit in 2018, the concession/waiver of the sum of 29,349,489 naira 51 kobo that arose from the above tax liability reduction could not be justified by the agency, as it failed to honor payment terms agreed with the tax authority. The above anomalies could be attributed to weaknesses in the internal control system at the agency.
Auditor General, please, you are on which of the issues? Because I have 3 issues here. Which
Issue
of the
1.
issues? You are still on issue 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can, okay, go ahead. And just summarize each of the issues, since they already have that copy with them. So please just summarize that.
Okay.
And we can move fast.
Risk, loss of audit, and loss of government revenue. 2, difficulty in funding project. Their response. The managing director stated that the tax liability of 66,291,622 naira 49 kobo had been remitted, but failed to attach evidence of remittance. Recommend.
Thank you. Can we just pause here, please?
Okay.
So that we can, from NIGCOMSAT, go and haven't had time to go through all these issues to be able to authorize a formal response. But thank God your DFA is here. Yes, Honorable, please.
Thank you, Chairman. My distinguished colleagues. The NIGCOMSAT, the MDCO has explained to us, she just resumed, but she has a team here, and I want to believe the DFA and a legal team are here that were there before she resumed. So they should know about this issue and the correspondence between them and Auditor General's office. So it would be nice if the DFA and if the legal team is around to actually give us a brief explanation to what they know about what is going on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, my respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Davis Daniel Ashley. I am of the opinion that since the MD just resumed office, I would like to meet with my colleagues to allow her to be fully briefed by a management team so that she can understand exactly how to take responsibility, because she assumed the assets and liability of National Staff. So I'm putting out a plea that we should allow her time to sort through the organization and arrange how she's going to respond accordingly and take care of all these queries. Thank you, my respected colleagues.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Because we actually deal with records here. We deal with documents. And even if the Director of Finance is ready to speak and there's no record he's speaking to, it will be very difficult to hold them to anything. So that's where I think this line of, but I don't know, maybe Madam is well prepared. She looks like a very capable, competent person. So if she's well prepared, we can as well just take your line of argument. Okay, let's just a moment. Let's please have. Yes, Madam. Okay, honorable colleagues, I don't want to serve as Madam's lawyer. On the issues, they are very deep issues that have to do with non-remittances and breach of statutory provisions. I think we would need them to properly submit written briefs in response to these issues and then come for their oral testimony. Madam, if you're asking for time, like what time frame do you think you will need to be able to do a proper submission? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? She said a couple of weeks. 2 weeks? Okay. Is that agreed to? Yeah. Okay. So by the leave of the committee, the NATCOM is given 2 weeks to make formal representation and appear before this committee to answer to the queries. Thank you.
We have from the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation 5 queries against the organization, audit queries that has to do with infractions, disobedience to relevant laws such as the tax law, the financial regulations, and other laws related to the agency. We invited you here to come and explain to this honorable committee. These queries are put before us against the organization. And of course, we cannot take decision until we hear from you to clear and explain to the committee, and of course, by extension, the Nigerian people, why these issues you violated the laws of the land. The first issue is statutory 1% stamp duty deducted, but you didn't, it wasn't remitted. I want to believe that you have the copy of the queries. And before you make any submission we want you to make a written submission to any of the response or all responses you're going to make to this committee. The second issue, of course, the first issue is this 1% stamp deduction of over 19 million. The second one is also stamp duty of over 137 million. Okay, let me just allow the Auditor General to read them out. Then we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Paid back to contractors / consultants totaling 19,840,081 naira 29 kobo. Paragraph 620 of the Financial Regulations provides that receipt given on paid vouchers are liable to stamp duty in accordance with the Stamp Duties Ordinance, Stamp Duties Act Cap 411. Also, paragraph 6 of the Treasury Circular Reference number TRY A12 and B12/2015 OEDM/CAD 026 volume 11 390 of 29 December 2015 requires all accounting officers, Director of Finance and Accounts, Head of Accounts, and Director of Internal Audit to ensure immediate and total compliance with the provision of the Stamp Duty Act. Audit observed from the review of paid vouchers and other records that 1. The sum of 19,840,081 naira 29 kobo was deducted as statutory 1% stamp duty from payment to contractor / consultant, and 2. The above amount was paid back to the contractors / consultant instead of remitting the money to the Federal Inland Revenue Service, contrary to the provision of the Eastern Circular. The above anomalies could be attributed to the weaknesses in the internal control system at the Department of Petroleum Resources. They are named there. Risk, overpayment to contractors / consultants. 2. Loss of revenue to the government. Management response. The department early made adequate deductions as rightly observed by the audit, but effort made to remedy deduction failed as the account number provided by Accountant General in the circular under reference for remittance of the 1% stamp duty was not on GMA platform at the time. The department had no choice than to pay back the sum deducted to the contractors / consultants pending when clarification are made, since it was not possible to warehouse the amounts deducted. 2. The department has issued letter to the contractor requesting them to remit the stamp duty to Federal Inland Revenue Service as requested by the audit. See evidence attached to the Annex B. 3. The clause has been included in the letters issued to the contractors, and management will ensure full compliance thereof. And number 4, noted as their response. And the recommendation, the director, CEO, is requested 1. To furnish reason why stamp duty deducted from contractors / consultants was not paid back. 2. Recover the sum of 19,840,081 naira 29 kobo from the contractor / consultant, being 1% stamp duty deducted and remitted to the relevant tax authority. 3. Forward evidence of remittance to the Public Account Committee of the National Assembly. And 5. Otherwise, apply sanctions relating to failure to collect and account for government revenue specified in paragraph 3112 of the Financial Regulation.
Thank you, Auditor General. Like I said earlier, this is to inform the Nigerian public of the true state of the public funds. He has raised all the issues, and we want you to respond. Like I said before, we hope that you have a submission to make in respect to the response you're going to give this committee. Please, can you tell us, based on the issues you raised, can you speak to it? And
Honorable members of the Public Accounts Committee, once again, good afternoon. It's with the greatest humility and especially my colleague from the legal department. I am technical from the economic regulation department as well. And so, in a short while, I will yield the floor to my colleague, Mr. Adesoya, to respond to some of the questions, and I will come in as required to provide further clarification. But before then, honorable members, I wanted to most respectfully draw the attention of the committee to the fact that these queries relate to the defunct Directorate, Department of Petroleum Resources. You would respectfully recollect that pursuant to the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission was brought into existence. Our sister regulatory agency as well, which was part of the former DPR, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, was also born as a result of that law. So today we have DPR basically compartmentalized into two sections. But we have done our best to provide responses even on behalf of our sister agency because we believe that our responses should suffice accordingly. So without further ado, and with the utmost respect to the committee, let me yield to my colleague, Mr. Adesoya from the legal. Thank you, sir. In the legal department.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, Mark Esset is my name, representing Bio Uran Sedata Exposed and Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, this is Public Accounts Committee, not Human Rights and Public Petitions Committee. And I don't understand audited query that is being issued to DPR. You directing your legal department to respond to it. I don't understand.
I understand, sir, because the gravamen of the issue and our response goes to the fundamentals of the law empowering the deduction and remittance of the Stamp Duty Act. So she'll provide the background, and I'm happy to provide any clarification required, all my colleagues as well. We're all here from finance. This is the Executive Commissioner for Finance and Accounts. So we're ready for any responses.
Sorry, you were asked by the chairman, those who are going to speak, to take the oath. And I think only both of you took the oath.
Yes, but
excuse me, and you're here with your accounts department personnel, and he's going to speak, if needs be.
As with if required. Right now, we don't know that, sir. Yes, sir.
Honorable colleague, let's allow them, since they are.
Before I go into these questions, I want to just explain there's been a long-standing dispute between us, the FRS, and the parties concerned with this stamp duties obligation. We've always maintained, and we believe, sir, that that we do not have the duty to collect or to pay stamp duties. And our position is based mainly on the literal words of Section 4 of the Stamp Duties Act, which has been subsequently amended by the Finance Act of 2019. What we maintain, sir, is that the Act provides that, one, it is only the federal government, which has been substituted now as the FRS, that has the responsibility to charge, assess, and collect stamp duties. And that stamp duties are only imposed on companies, not government bodies. So because of that, sir, we've had this running battle that we do not have, and if you would agree with me, sir, tax laws are interpreted strictly. There's no addition, it is what the law says. Where there's an obligation to deduct at source or withdraw, or withhold, the law clearly states that, as we see in the company income tax, there is no obligation on us, sir, to withhold this tax. And that's what we have consistently maintained. First, in response to the first question, what had happened, sir, was that somehow the department responsible responsible for the finance department has started to deduct stamp duties at source. And we put our position to the department that we are under no obligation because Section 4 is clear on who has this responsibility. And because of that, the department had to return the duties that had already been collected. So, sir, that was, I think, sir, okay.
You deduct stamp duties at source. You deduct stamp duties at source and remit to the buyers. And the query says
the department has started to, and when we explained to them that was not, we were not the entity charged in the Section 4, that was why the response to the question was,
what is the difference between the deduction of the money and the repayment back to the contractors?
By the submission of the Honourable Member representing a federal constituency in Akwa Ibom State. I think that question, in your wisdom, sir, can I most respectfully request that before my colleague, in the acting director, responds, that he be put on oath, please.
The woman who was asking the question, according to you, is the person who has the capacity.
Will reside in any of the people that have the knowledge.
Yeah, well, that's true, but why don't we just take everyone here on oath at the same time?
I agree. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So it's just two of them, and
Okay.
We commenced that deduction in January 2019. And within that period, the remitter platform, there was an account in that remitter platform which money were paid to. Then within the period of like I think June, July of that year, the account was stepped down from the remitter platform. We tried to inquire the reason, no reason was given to us. We now have to seek an interpretation.
No, just a moment, please. On the remitter platform, there was an account created for this.
So then, after the step down, there were 3 accounts. We don't need that, but and standards. And within that year, it was stepped down. No reason was given. So we see the interpretation.
And the year is 2019.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, the year of the
Yes, please.
So.
2019.
Yeah. So we seek an interpretation from legal. It was at that point they interpreted the law and gave us that interpretation. And then we continue to deduct. And at the end of the year, if we don't have an account to pay, it means this money will be moved off my trade receivable account. So we decided to send the money back to the government.
Okay, Auditor General, you have something to say?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the Honorable Member. Because observation, it cut across nearly all MDAs. But most time when we get to the field, what we normally tell them is that we normally give them the account number for which to pay. But you know, for the mere fact that it was not provided in the GP platforms, it was only VAT and withholding that was provided. So they always give that excuse. But when we give them the account number that they should pay, and even some years after, some of those contractors are still the same contractor that are executing job. So the difficulty in not collecting it from them is not apt. And again, I want to bring to the notice of this committee. I could remember the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He raised some consultants to collect this thing, and they wrote to all MDAs. In the content of the letter, what they requested was that they should supply the names of those contractors, their phone number, their email address, the type of services they render, the contract sum, and the expected stamp duty to be collected. And I think at a point in time, such was collected. So if that should be done, they will have notified all the MDAs. This is how much we have collected, and this is how much is outstanding. So with that, they could even present that one that, okay, this outstanding or backlog, this is what they have done, though not collected by us, but by another government agency. So I think it's not speaking well. It's not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Honorable.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, in your reply, you made mention of stepping down the platform, which, let me complete my, which now later led to repayment to the refunding of the fund to the contractors. Is there any approval from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation which compel you to now release that deducted amount back to the contractor? Is there any policy document?
Let me.
Yes, there's an addition here, please. There's an addition here.
So, issues I want to raise. Whether you have escalated the matter to Auditor Accountant General's office and the FIRS before refunding these monies to the contractors, basically.
TPR has commenced deductions accordingly, as was presumed to be in line with the law. Then subsequently, the account where the money was stepped down, there's nowhere to go with the money, but the medical mistake of limiting it to the account at initial. Secondly, when we had waited to the end of the year, December 30th, the fear is that the Treasury will mop up this money. Thirdly, while taking a decision with Peru, we referred to our legal department on the issue of stamp duties, when they came up with the clarity picture of the law, that we are not bound by that responsibility. And sir, if I may come to your question, when there is a superior law, an act of the National Assembly laying out a procedure of doing something, we felt taking any further directions from the Accountant General to do something would be a subsidiary meeting, therefore not at all. So, given what the position of the law is,
are you a lawyer too? Are you a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm an accountant.
You are saying what the lawyer said.
I was an Auditor General for 7 years in my state.
Okay.
Before I came to MDAs. So this existence of the superior law of the legislature supersedes any instruction from the Accountant General's office. That is why we have to.
Okay. Honorable, you want a rider? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In as much as you are not on a debating session with you, but I want to disagree with you. You're quoting the law that you have to, the Act of the National Assembly supersedes every other directives. Did the law also tell you to return the money to the contractors? Mr. Chairman, with what I am seeing here, there is no excuse whatsoever. And it's telling us that if at the end of the year, the Treasury will mop up the money. Which Treasury? Is it not the federal government? Instead of you allowing the federal government to mop up the money, you prefer to return to the contractors, which, as we've been told, those contractors are within yourself. So the law does not permit you to return to the contractors, and you did, refusing to heed to the directive of the Accountant General, even when the account was provided to you to remit the money.
Okay. No,
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes,
and I also want to add, as an addendum, that those companies, they should submit the list of those companies to this honorable committee, their CAC registration numbers, and the board of directors. All the details pertaining to those companies and the revelations, without sounding as a seer. I believe the revelations will shock the entire country. Thank you.
Your points are well noted, Honorable. And one of the issues is that the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission is a new creation of the law, even though you are like an offshoot of the DPR. But in the eye of the law, you are like a new, fresh human being. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's correct.
And I want us to also have that, at the back of our mind. I'm also very conscious of the fact that by the obligations put on you, by virtue of the provision of the PIA, we also want to, as much as possible, make sure that you don't look too bad to investors and those who are doing business with us as a country. Nevertheless, and I say that nevertheless in capitals, we have to ensure that whatever is being done wrong is corrected in a manner that will not make us continue to lose revenue. Now, the position of the honorable member, before I go ahead, I think is sustained, that we need you to supply the list of all those contractors, including their necessary details, their status, the board of directors, and the year of incorporation. That is to rule on the first matter. The second one, which has to do with the position of the law on the deduction of stamp duty, I will want to think that we may need further consultations on this, because I must say it's a very novel position that I'm seeing from you. And I've looked at the wordings of the statute myself, and I don't know whether it's a draftman problem or whatever it is. But I will also want to ask you, were there any of the contractors in those years that was not refunded of this money? Is there any deduction that you made of this sum? And I want you to be well conscious in answering this question, because it will take us somewhere else. Was there any deduction that was made within the year in consideration, or, the year in consideration, that was not returned back to the contractor? It's a yes or no. Are there?
Honorable Chairman, when I was answering that question, I said there were contractors that were remitted.
But are there contractors that were?
I want to add that if they are coming with the company's name, they should give us the approval they sought from the MD and the payment voucher where the list of the contractors were refunded, so that we can see those complaints that are actually remitted, and if it's the same complaint that were paid back, so they should give us the internal approval for such payment as additional. I'm sure you understand the account, because you will not pay from that account, whether it's internal or whatever, without approval internally.
Thank you, Honorable.
So please, Mr. Chairman, sir, if they can be added that when they are coming with these names of the companies, they should come with the approval from their internal system. Before they return that money.
I understand. I'm sure he understands.
And in the process, the literature would have read that, this money has been deducted from the company.
Wrongfully deducted from the company.
Back, and then you approve such within the internal control system. We want to have it so that we can see the company that paid and the company debt. Is that what I want to have?
Thank you, Honorable.
Stamp duty from payment to contractor consultant, 137,225,973 naira 35 kobo. Paragraph 620 of the financial regulations provides that receipt given on paid vouchers are liable to stamp duty in accordance with the Stamp Duties Ordinance, Stamp Duty Act Cap 411. Also, paragraph 6 of the Treasury Circular Reference Number TRY A12 and B12/OAGF/CAD/026 volume 11/390 of 29 December 2015 that requires that all accounting officers, director of finance and accounts, head of accounts, and directors of internal audit to ensure compliance and immediate and total compliance with the provision of Stamp Duty Act. Audit observed the sum of 13 this is wrong. 13,722,973 597,335 naira 43 kobo was paid to contractor, consultant for various contracts / consultancies. 2, the above payments were not subjected to statutory 1% stamp duty deductions of 137,225,973 naira 35 kobo as required by extant regulations. The above anomalies could be attributed to the weakness in the internal control system at the Department of Petroleum Resources. The risk: number 1, overpayment to contractors / consultants. 2, loss of revenue to the government. Management responses. Number 1, sequel to the inability of the department to remit the earlier deduction of 1% stamp duty, which were later paid to contractors. The management felt it was improper to deduct what will not be remitted. 2, letters have been issued to the contractor requesting them to remit stamp duty to Federal Inland Revenue Service as requested by the audit. See evidence attached as Annex 3. The waivers have been... Wait, sir, so that I can be on record. All right. Naira 72 kobo. Federal government circular with reference number SGF OP/1/S.3/IX/274 dated 4th October 2011, titled Compliance with the Provisions of the Industrial Training Fund Amendment Act 2011 as they relate to training contributions by liable organizations require every employer having 5 or more employees in its establishment, or having less than 5 employees, but have a turnover of 50 million and above per annum, to, in respect of each calendar year and all the prescribed date, contribute to the fund 1% per annum of its total annual payroll. Audit observed that the sum of 11,856,088,271 naira 92 kobo was paid as salaries for 2019. 2, 1% industrial training fund ITF contribution amounting to 118,560,882 naira 72 kobo was not deducted and remitted in violation of the extant regulations. And 3, 1% ITF contribution of the same amount, 118,560,882 naira 72 kobo, was provided for in the 2019 appropriation of DPR in accordance with the standard practice. The above anomalies could be attributed to weaknesses in the internal control system at the Department of Petroleum Resources. Risk: number 1, underperformance by the Industrial Training Fund. 2, difficulty in funding budget. The response of the management: number 1, the department never considered that the circular on 1% of payroll as contribution to ITF applies to it, as it thought it was more applicable to a private company. However, the sum of 118,560,882 naira 72 kobo, which would have been deducted and remitted to ITF, was not provided for in the 2019 appropriation. 2, the template given to the department by Budget Office of the Federation for the preparation of personnel costs budget did not provide for ITF, hence, non-deduction and remittance of the said amount. 3, all statutory deductions and relate to staff payroll are being included by the Budget Office of the Federation and released for remittance periodically to the relevant bodies. 4, all attempts will be made to include the amount in question in the subsequent budget where it will be deducted and remitted to the fund. 5, noted. And the recommendation: the Director CEO is requested to 1, furnish reason why 1% ITF was not deducted and remitted as required by extant regulation. 2, secure appropriation for the arrears of 118,560,882 naira 72 kobo as 2019 ITF contribution and remit same to the fund. 3, forward evidence of remittance to the public accounts committees of the National Assembly. And 4, the last, otherwise apply sanctions relating to gross misconduct specified in paragraph 3129 of the financial regulations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
ITF commission an MDA. The ITF Act, Section 6, states that employees that have more than 5 employers that have more than 5 employees or earn or have more than a turnaround of more than 50 million naira are liable to 1% tax. The issue there, sir, is that the definition of employees in the Act, employers in the Act, it states that companies or corporations engaged in commerce or industry. You are aware, sir, that we are a regulator. We regulate upstream activities. We do not engage in commerce or industry. So, and to further support our position, sir, we don't have desktop research. There's a list of companies on the ITF website and a list of companies that pay this tax. They are all private companies or public companies. There are no government entities on that. On the list they are published on that site. So, sir, the issue again is that this law is not applicable to us. So we are under no obligation to make these remittances.
That's
in 2019, the budget template did not provide for this ITF payment. Just if you look at the budget, it's only NHIS now provided. If you go ahead and pay as at that time, it means staff salary will not be paid because it should be provided for in the budget. And I mean, the budget is it's an act. Anything that is not provided for, we are not allowed to pay.
Okay. On the templates that did not carry the ITF deductions, I want to know, what did you do about it? What did you do about it? Yes, if the budget office template did not carry the 1% ITF deduction, and ordinarily you're supposed to deduct, what was your action? Did you do anything about it, or you just left it like that? Then on what you said, madam, about your organization not to deduct 1% ITF tax, we're going to escalate it further. We're going to invite the Attorney General of the Federation to come. Maybe by that time, we're going to invite you again on that. But before then, my colleagues have one or two issues.
Yes, Chief Dr. Billy Famous at this was I represent the group people of Orion or the federal constituency from Edo State. Coincidentally, I happen to be a member of ad hoc committee on ITF, which is presently running right now. Are you aware the head of service actually came and just debunked what you said now? That the ITF. And now, I want to ask you this question. Were you one of those MDAs invited? If yes, did you show up? Were you one of the MDAs invited to the ITF currently going on right now? Because we have a list of all the MDAs, all the companies invited. Because we are shocked to hear this from you, that you went to the site, you checked out all the companies, they were only private companies. That is shocking. Because as we speak, there are MDAs, and this has been going on now for the past 1 month. Almost, yes. This has been going on. Other committee on ITF. So again, I'm asking you, when you, one of those MDAs invited to ITF, please be careful in answering this question. Because we have every letter that went out.
So, honorable members,
yes.
Thank you for that guidance, but I'll just check with my colleagues. I am not personally aware, and I've checked with them as well, and they display knowledge. Now, it doesn't mean that such invitation was not made to the organization, because there's a communication protocol into the organization, sir, and all correspondence will typically come into the office of the Commission Chief Executive. It may well be that the letter has been sent, but has not been disseminated to the appropriate units within the organization that needs to action that. So that's something for us to check when we get back, and we will certainly revert. And we are both. So if there's any course of action that we, a remedial course of action that we need to undertake, pursuant to these clarifications,
Honorable colleague, remember the lady said this ITF deduction. And I made a statement here, because it's on record. We are going to invite the Attorney General of the Federation to come and clarify on this matter. And once this matter is being clarified by him, we are going to take necessary action on the issue. And madam, you should be very careful in trying to work around the law, because we're going to escalate this matter. I just want you to know this, because some of these things we hide under law that we are not allowed to do that. All agencies actually are supposed to deduct 1% ITF tax.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Mark Essetti is my name. I want...
Sorry, he hasn't finished. Let him finish first.
Sorry. Yes, madam, sorry, I know when you introduced yourself, I was not here. What's your designation with this company?
I'm the head commercial legal services.
Okay. So, when you said the law did not permit you to take part, that was emphatic, right?
Sorry, sir, I said it's not applicable.
It's not applicable. Very emphatic. So, coming from the legal department, you were very sure, because I'm trying to...
I'm sorry, sir, if I mean, respectfully. I think maybe being a lawyer, we know certain principles that guide the interpretation of laws. For example, tax laws are interpreted strictly. So there's no interference, there's no, you're not allowed, as long as you're not allowed to even apply the rules of statutory interpretation, including a statute, tax statute. So the act is actually very specific. It states first that an organization that employs more than five people or has a turnover of more than 50 million. The other definition of an employer is someone engaged in industry or an organization engaged in industry or commerce. We are a regulator by the PIA. The PIA empowers us by section 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to regulate upstream petroleum operations. We don't, I don't think that's the definition of industry or commerce. So that's why that's what our position is based on. And respectfully, sir, we stand with follow whatever guidance the Attorney General says and all that. As of today, sir, we are following the literal until that act is amended, sir. That's what the law says.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very interesting. Yeah, formerly DPR, whatever. It's just the name, the structure, the personnel, all the same. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, one, listening from the barrister that they regulate, I want to ask, do your agency contribute to the revenue of the federal government? You contribute? How, when you are regulating, how do you contribute the revenue if you are not generating? I'm trying to point it out to you when you said you don't generate. And the law says if you employ more than 5 and you make a turnover, how do you manage to contribute to the revenue of the federal government if you are not making a turnover and you are not generating? That is one. 2, you issue contracts. A regulating agency that is just, you don't have any money, you issue contracts. Where do you get the money to pay the contractors? And you also make a profit. Thirdly, I want to also put it to you, as a member of the ad hoc committee investigating non-remittance of ITF funds, that your establishment has appeared twice and have remitted so far from the money owed over ₦1 billion. I'm putting it straight to you. And they are now at the verge of negotiating the penalty owed. And they are yet to tell us that the law does not permit you, an agency that has over 1 million employees under its coffers, an agency that is generating billions of naira and remitting same to the coffers of the federal government, and that the law does not permit you with such amount of money you're making not to remit the ITF funds. Mr. Chairman, I think there is need for this committee. If you want to, we should not be a toothless bulldog. We cannot just back and at the end we don't make an impact. If you want to be serious, we should back and bite. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Mr. Chairman, sir, if I may. Mr. Chairman, sir, please. Honorable members, sir, thank you for that information. But again, like I say, I'm under oath. And I've asked my team right here present. You're right when you say there are many more people who are employed in the organization and not this. But the gentleman by my side is the executive commissioner who runs finance and accounts, and that's the head of accounts. And I've just asked them, has there been any such transaction to remit or to pay ITF? And they're displaying knowledge.
Let me also ask you, please off your mic. Has there been any remittance to the federal government coffers by your agency? No, yes or no? Absolutely. Yes, there have been. Oh, yeah, revenue generation. And your colleague, the barrister, said you don't generate the revenue.
That's not what she said, sir. That's not what she said, sir.
I don't know if I was, I mean,
honorable colleague, let them clarify, please.
Exactly, honorable member, sir. If I may, the chair, sir. My colleague was merely restating the verbatim verbiage of the law, sir. And the law defines an employer as any person engaged in industry or commerce with whom an employee entered into a contract of service. Sorry, sir.
Sorry, let me ask you.
Yes.
Is your agency an entity that can be sued and sue? Yes or no?
Remember,
excuse me, I want agency an entity.
DPR was not, sir.
Is your agency an entity? Let me ask the barrister, is your agency an entity?
NPRC is, yes, it is.
Is it as an agency?
Yes, but this is DPR.
Excuse me, please. Whatever name you are bearing now, you take over the assets and liabilities. Am I saying that? Is it correct? Yes, you do.
Yes.
And you are an agency that can be sued and sue. Yes. And you are saying you are not generating. Excuse me, please. I don't think we should.
Honorable colleague, no, on this matter, please. On this matter, sorry. On this matter.
Because you see, it makes us look like we don't know what we are doing. If we sit here and just let you bamboozle, or what do you mean by commerce? Do you issue licenses? Yes or no? Please answer me. Do you issue licenses? Yes. And do you get paid for issuing licenses? No, what is commerce? No, because we want to know. Do you, sir, do you get paid for issuing licenses?
So the payments go to the federation?
No, do you get paid? Yes or no, sir?
The federation gets
paid. No, do you get paid? Let me read it out. And Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission licenses. Yes or no? Sir, you are on oath.
I'm on oath.
Please, Yes or no?
Honorable Chairman, sir.
Hello, Honorable. Take it easy. Just take it easy. Honorable colleague. He will answer. Just take it easy, please. Please, we need to understand one thing. We're here to not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just clarify. Just like I said before, when you are presenting anything, be very careful the things you say and be very certain about certain things, information you present here. Because we are going to escalate it further. We are going to invite Attorney General. We are going to also invite ITF on this matter. So please, let's take it.
Mr. Chair, I totally align with the conclusion that has been reached by the committee to invite the Honorable Attorney General's office to clarify. I wanted to most respectfully draw the attention of the committee as well to the first issue of stamp duties. If we did not want to comply as an organization, there will be no need to even deduct in the first instance before the refund was made. Because it doesn't take us anything as an organization to keep deducting and then remitting. But we always want to be guided by law, and that is the remit of the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, that's the Attorney General's office. And if they clarify to us that this is indeed their interpretation, and as an MDA, we are bound by that. Honestly, we will come back here, we will be here, like you said, you will invite us, and we will raise our hands and say, absolutely, we will comply, please.
So what you have not told us, or the legal department have not told us is, we read out those industry. Even if we don't know what it means, we can easily Google and know what commerce means. Again, you are so happy that we are inviting the Attorney General. But you're on oath, you have not answered my question. I'm going back again, Mr. Chairman, with your leave, to answer that question. Please, if we are calling Attorney General, be rest assured that we will ask questions, and we are going to match that by what we have been told by you today. Sir, again, do you issue licenses? If yes, do you get paid for issuing licenses?
Thank you, Honorable. Let him answer. You can put up the microphone. Put up your microphone, Honorable. Yes, please go ahead and answer those questions.
Yes, we issue licenses and we issue permits as well. And the federal government is paid directly to the coffers of the federation. It doesn't come to the organization. It doesn't come to us as an organization.
Who issues the licenses?
So we issue the licenses, but the account that they pay into is a federation account that goes to
No. Yes. It can't be a federation account. It is your account, but it's not an account in your name. It's not a TSA account in your name. Oh, okay. It's paid to CRF. It's going to CRF directly. Okay, so go ahead. Answer. That's clear. That's clear. Thank you.
We regulate, and anything coming from that as income goes straight to the consolidated revenue fund of the Federation, maintained with the Central Bank of Nigeria. In fact, what used to happen is that at the end of every month, they will calculate the quantum of money accrued into the consolidated revenue fund and pay 4%. That's what organizers do. They pay 4% to NUPRC. And on the coming of this administration, that 4% even has been reduced to 2.5%.
Do you earn any revenue for the federal government?
Yes, we pay operating surplus from the 4% we get.
No, just wait. I said wait, uncle, wait. Do you earn revenue on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria? Use the microphone. You can pull it to your side so that you be comfortable. Yes.
The first is the revenue that is supposed to go directly to the consolidated revenue fund. That is from the royalties, licenses, and what have you.
Okay, does that get credited to you too as the? That gets credited to you. I mean, you take the credit for earning that for government.
No, we just do the regulatory practice.
I understand.
And the companies pay
Yes. So it gets credited to you. You are the ones who issue the license from which they pay to the consolidated federation account.
Yes. And the second pattern of revenue is the operating surplus. From the quantum of the meager 4% they give to us. Yes, sir, because we are operating a deficit budget this year because of the cut of the amount. And that is
you know why this issue became important was, trying to draw the line between doing commerce and being a regulatory body. And I was just jokingly telling my colleague here that whenever you have too many lawyers, you are sure that you have such issues. I think...
Mr. Chair, sir, if I may, sir.
Just a moment, please. I'm not sure this issue can be resolved without having the Attorney General of the Federation and the ITF here. And I also wanted to ask whether before you took a decision on your own interpretation of what the law says, you made any recourse to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. Madam Legal Officer, did you make any recourse to the Office of the Attorney General? Because for the abundance of government to come so that we can jointly resolve this matter, not just for the purpose of resolving this audit query, but for enriching the processes of our revenue administration as a country. So we'll look at our calendar and issue out invitations to these other arms of government where you will also be duly invited. Honorable colleagues, in that regard, because almost every other issue, surrounds the issue of legality, and because even the last issue that has to do with remittance is already also being pushed back to the CBN and the Accountant General of the Federation. So we may need. I don't know why the Accountant General is not here today, but also subsequently. So, honorable colleagues, in that case, do we then adjourn with the Nigerian Petroleum Upstream Regulatory Commission until such a time that we will invite all these other stakeholders and have a holistic approach to resolving these audit queries? Is that agreeable to the committee? Yes. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You are discharged, but not acquitted. May I ask the Auditor General to please do their own introductions.
Samuel Godwin, representing the Auditor General for the Federation.
Mr. Chairman and the distinguished members of this committee, I am Aka Promise, part of the team of the Auditor General for the Federation.
Members of the Public Account Committee, House of Representatives. My name is Captain Musanu, the Director General of Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. Honorable Chair, I must first and foremost sincerely.
Before then, can we take the introduction of the gentleman with you? Okay, you are the personal assistant to the DG. Okay, can you take your seat just on the aisle behind him? You're welcome. Yes, please, go ahead, DG.
Honorable Chair, first and foremost, I'd like to sincerely apologize to this distinguished committee for inability to attend this hearing at the first call of the meeting. I take full responsibility. I was away and the letter of invitation came. I don't know what happened. Somehow it slipped through the system. Honorable Chair, you called me a couple of days ago inquiring as to why we did not attend this committee. And I explained to you with sincere apologies. I take full responsibility. It was not meant to slight this disciplinary committee. It was an error on the part of the system. Honorable Chair, we looked at the immediately you called me and called my people to start getting all the gone some distance before the Honorable Chair, because some of the documents were required were from 2015, and we've been trying to get all of them. We've not compiled all, we've got some. My directors have been at the gates for the last 20 minutes trying to get them. That's heavy traffic. They have the documentations we have been able to gather for this distinguished committee. About which I said only earlier, we've not gotten all the information.
They are already here.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So, Honorable Chair, I'll have my Director of Finance in the house.
Let him first introduce himself, and then we'll tell you and we'll guide him on how we proceed. This other microphone works too.
Good afternoon, Chairman, distinguished members. My name is Auditor, the Director of Finance.
Okay, so the first, put off the microphone. The first issue which the DG has addressed, which was the date that we first gave him, and he has tendered his apology on that, and I'm sure we're going to extend the same gesture we extended to a few agencies that came before you. Okay, so your submission is not here. Okay, so this is what we call conditional appearance. What do we do? How do we proceed? Your comments, please. Will be so.
Chair, we have extended an invitation to them. They were able to be here at the time. The House have to resolve to summon them. And again, they are appearing today under the conditional appearance. Chair, we should go by this level. Everybody will come there and seek for time frame. And the assignment we are carrying now is 2020, and we have set a target to ourselves that we may likely be up to 2015 before we 2025. So, Chairman, I think we should, first of all, even if we are extending, we have to give them a very limited time to tidy up. And if we are looking at the controversies in the audit, they were all discussed with the agency. Tax Auditor General, please, did you discuss all these details with them? If you did, there is no reason they should not have these records handy before coming.
Thank you, Honorable. Any other comments, observation, or question, please? Yes, Honorable Noah.
Mr. Chairman, my fellow colleagues, I am worried, seriously worried, because an agency of this magnitude will be very, very central in the affairs of Nigeria. The head of that will come here and tell us that all documents are in Lagos. While they are in Abuja, they cannot be able to have their own document. At this age, 21st century, that is unacceptable. Because in a situation of this nature, if there is emergency, what can you do about it? That means you don't have prepared data, or you don't have a workable system, or you refuse to utilize them. So in as much as I'm concerned, and most of our colleagues are concerned, this information, I don't think it is something to go by. Believing in you that the NNC, NN what? Thank you very much. Cannot be able to, at the press of one button on their computer, cannot be able to access all this information or unless if, like my fellow colleagues saying, something fishy is going in between. As much as we know that yes, we are coming to defend this issue, or you are coming to explain before this committee, or you are coming to clarify before this committee, you must be as serious as it deserves to have all your documents prepared. As you are sitting here, I think you are supposed to even use your phone now.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable.
So, Mr. Chairman, I am not comfortable with the information that they can't have access to some information that are vital as
Thank you, Honorable. Final comment? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my take on this one is, I think we just need to be forceful in enforcing the criteria of this committee. Any person that did not take this committee serious, I think the best we could do is let's give them anything to Monday. Anything after Monday, we should sanction them. That is the end of the story. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Colleague. You have something to say?
The Honorable Chairman and other members, there was from the responses to the three issues raised. It's not out of place. The readiness shouldn't be an issue now here because from their responses, it shows that either they are not, the documents were not available at that time, and they are saying this is how much they are supposed to remit. So I don't think it's an issue for the non-readiness. Because for issue one now, the responses wasn't say, said the authority was only required to remit 80% of the, meaning that they know what they are supposed to have remitted for that issue one. Issue two is the same thing, and the other issue is saying it was noted.
Yes, but the supporting document or whatever they want to do is not here. DG and the Director of Finance, the summary of what honorable members have said here today is to the effect that the committee is not happy that this issue has not been treated with the kind of seriousness and dispatch expected of a very, very important agency as yours. You will agree with me that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority must be one of the most important agencies of government because apart from what you do in this particular industry, you also represent Nigeria in so many other international bodies. And of course, you know what best global practices are in your industry when it comes to financial transparency. And members will have expected that there will be greater due diligence shown by your organization to making sure that these documents are sought and made ready for this meeting. Having said that, I also want to say that I've never met you, DG. I've never seen you in my life. But I've spoken to you twice now. You called me this morning and you were requesting for an extension of time. And I said, that is not within my powers to grant. That it's only this committee that can grant you and that you have to make an appearance. Like in the military, they say obey before complain. But I want to say that just like your organization's name, Civil Aviation Authority, you appear to be a civil man. Each time you call, each of the 2 times you have called, you appear to be a very civil person. And, you know, that melts me once in a while that in spite of that, we have a job to do. And we are doing that job in your own interest and in the interest of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the only country you and I have. Because if things don't work well as a country, we all suffer the consequences. We are talking about non-remittance of monies running to several billions of naira to the Consolidated Federation account. And this is a time when, as a country, we are talking about going to borrow for almost everything. We are talking about a time when it has become very difficult for us as a country to fund our capital expenditure, and even the current expenditure in some instances. I know about organizations that have not been paid their recurrent expenditure for the second quarter of the year. This is the last quarter of the year due to paucity of funds. So every naira, every kobo matters to Nigeria now. So it will matter to the Public Account Committee. And we will expect that you will cooperate with us to ensure that we are able to have the correct information, state of things concerning this expenditure. From what has been said by honorable members, we are not pleased with the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. We are not pleased that you are not able to provide the necessary information that will have helped us to proceed on the answering of this audit query. We are talking of 2019. Very soon we are going to start 2020. If we are still on 2019 now and we are talking about needing more time. But like one of the honorable members said, even if we are going to grant you an extension of time, it will not be a time that will be too long. It will be what we call short adjournment in court. And so I will throw it back to you that if you have an opportunity of asking for a time frame within which you will be ready to answer to these queries, what time will you be asking this honorable committee to grant you on compassionate grounds?
Civil aviation.
My DFA is saying tomorrow, but I'm skeptical of the future. I don't want to say tomorrow, then I come tomorrow and start giving excuses. So I want to be given over the weekend to ensure that we have all the copies. Tuesday next week, we submit them, the documents to this honorable committee.
Okay, honorable colleagues, then Thursday for appearance, if that is, okay, honorable Papa Messiah is not okay with that.
Chair, I object to it.
Okay, so what's your...
If the person preparing this document is willing and able to come before us tomorrow, I think it can...
No, to submit, they are talking about submission tomorrow.
To submit tomorrow and to appear on Monday is the most appropriate.
Honorable.
Mr. Chairman, I want to align myself with the position of my colleague, because if the person...
I just want to plead, honorable colleagues, if we allow them to submit on Tuesday, like the DG has said, and appear on Thursday, it will give them enough time. Thank you very much. Honorable, you think we should? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the indulgence. So, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, you are to submit your documents latest on Tuesday and cause appearance before the Honorable Committee on Thursday next week at 2 p.m. Thank you. That we are done with the business of the day, and so I want to ask if there is a motion for adjournment or a motion for extension of the sitting to continue, Senator. Chairman, if anybody is going to move...
Chairman, distinguished colleagues, after the day is well spent, I hereby move a motion for the adjournment of this meeting to the date as prescribed by the chairman and the members. I so move.
Thank you very much.
So, if you are in favor... Colleagues, if you are in favor of the motion that the committee adjourns this sitting until Tuesday next week at 10 a.m. If you are in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. If I again say nay, the ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.